Hi, this is Father Rodel Balagtas from Immaculate Heart of Mary Church in Los Angeles, California. Welcome to our weekly podcast, Reflections from the Heart. Are you a mystic? You may find this question intriguing and at the same time profound. Then you would ask, how does one become a mystic anyway? A mystic is someone who has a deep experience of God and an intimate understanding of God's plan or saving purpose. He or she is a person who is in touch with God's Spirit. In the midst of the mundane realities of life, this person experiences clearly the presence and the power of God. Without doubt, then, a mystic is a person that possesses a strong and interior prayer life. Saint Teresa of Avila, also called Saint Teresa of Jesus, was one of the great mystics of the Roman Catholic Church. In her book, Interior Castle, she describes the 7 stages of union with God and compares the contemplative life to a castle with 7 chambers. Each chamber signifies a passage toward spiritual perfection. Now you may ask, why speak about mystics at this present age when what the world needs now are economic wizards? What are mystics for in the present society that craves for jobs and mortgage payments? I'd say that this is the era when we need mystics even more. With the difficulties and crises that beset us and inflict our minds and spirits, we need people who can continually pronounce the unfailing presence and power of God in the world. Mystics don't deal with numbers, interest rates, and economic solutions. Instead, they deal with total trust in God and abandonment to His love, mercy, and will. Moses and all the prophets were considered to be mystics. They were privileged to converse personally with God in behalf of the people of God. They had an inside view of how God would think and act. In our first reading this Sunday, we find this to be true. As Joshua engaged Amalek in a battle, Moses climbed to the top of the hill with Aaron and Hur. As long as he kept his hands raised up, Israel had the better of the fight. But when he let his hands rest, Amalek had the better of the fight. Now we know that Moses could do this only with the power, the instruction, and the abiding presence of God. Moses had a clear understanding of God's saving purpose and had put his complete trust into it. Christian mystics have the important task of encouraging people to persist in praying both in convenient and inconvenient times. They are the voice of God in urging people to be like the widow in this Sunday's Gospel, who didn't stop to ask a judge to render a just decision for herself against her adversary. They remind people not to stop praying until the merciful God hears their prayers. They tell people to keep their vision of goodness, prosperity, holiness, and service. Hence, Christian mystics are those who manifest and propagate positive attitudes, those who are unwilling to be consumed by the pangs of pessimism. They always see hope and beauty in most situations, even in failures and defects. I know a priest friend who manifests this quality. He always strikes me with his optimism. For him, something that seems worst can result into something good. In other words, for him, a curse can turn into a blessing. So, do you know people whom you consider mystics? We need more of them in these trying times. And we need to be mystics ourselves. Once again, this is Father Rodel from Immaculate Heart of Mary Church here in Los Angeles, California. Have a great day. God bless you.